I guess the point is he can play either end, and that's good for the Bombers.
And you see Dean Cox has actually been picked up by Hooker. I'd be looking for Coxie early inside 50.
See big Nick Naitanui signalling 4 there. I don't know whether that means 4 o'clock on the dial is where he's going to hit it or what, but here we go. A pretty even ball up in the middle. Zaharakis with the very first touch of the game here tonight. Near on perfect conditions. It doesn't get any better than this. It's nice weather, no dew on the ground, and no wind at all to speak of tonight. Zaharakis with a little chip out of the action there. Here's Kerr, that typical long handball. Paddy Ryder got in the way. Nice little knock to the controversial man himself. Watson to Hurley and pressure.
Interesting to see. That was Jobe Watson's first look at the footy, and a rare fumble. You hardly ever see him do that, and we know he stood up so well, as has the whole side under enormous pressure. And again tonight we'll get to see how they respond with all the controversy throughout the week.
So a few missing out of the Eagles lineup this week, with the likes of Embley out, suspended of course. Shuey, a late withdrawal for those that have just joined us. He's out tonight as well, along with Selwood and Hearn. So some of their best not with them tonight.
Yeah, they need Gaff to play well again tonight. Had a good game against the Hawks last week. When he gets plenty of the footy, the Eagles play well.
And of course this man has the capabilities of turning things on the head as well.
They've worked this pretty well. He started at centre forward, Cox, and Naitanui pushed straight forward, and now got Bell Chambers playing as a defender. They'd be pretty happy if they can keep Bell Chambers at centre half back.
And they've dragged Hooker up out of that defensive 50, which is good.
Crowd ticking over, just 30,000 on the entry metre here at the moment.
A few empty seats tonight. You don't normally see that here, BT.
They come in very late on a weeknight.
Yeah.
Opportunity here now for Hutchings. Long ball to Naitanui over the top of Hooker. Almost got hold of it. Darling centering football unselfishly to Priddis. Priddis told to play on. Not the required journey, said the umpire. Pops it to the top of the square. Dangerous over the back. Darling again with another chance. This time Pears got him in the bear hug. And Kennedy a little snap. Boy, he made something out of absolutely nothing there, Josh Kennedy.
Great start for the big man. Coleman medal contention this year, having a great season. I think Cameron Ling picked him to be first goal. Well done, Lingy.
Thanks, mate. I plucked that one out of nowhere, but I'm going to claim it.
Well, they made something out of nothing here. There's Jack Darling just trying to force it out. No ball up called. Kennedy whacks it through. And our man Cameron Ling, you picked that, Lingy, with the draft pick. First goal.
Very happy with that one, Richo. Probably plucked that one out of nowhere. It was the obvious one, but really good goal by Kennedy.
Don't pump yourself up too much, Captain Obvious down there. By the way, the 5th time that Kennedy's kicked the first goal of the game that he's played in this year. And he does play the big tall down there, Lingy, so come on, mate. There's a ball from Hooker. Misdirected. McKenzie ahead on it. Dempsey back into the side. A welcome return for him on his non-preferred side. And in there, Cramery is tackled. Glass out of defence. Did it nicely, and now in the hands of Kerr. So West Coast just easing their way out of defence here at the moment, although under enormous Essendon pressure. Hibbert to Watson. Butler got him in the tackle. And away they go once again. A long ball by Waters. Goes to half forward. Jakey Carlisle.
He keeps his eye on the footy well. Carlisle, doesn't he, Richo? Both looking at it from here. Everyone else was sort of trying to find space. He just attacks the ball.
Goddard to Davey. You speak of space, and he found plenty of it. Here they come in the pocket. A little one over the top finds Zahara. In fact, it's not Zaharakis, it's Winderlick.
And they get that because Carlisle's got the ability to win the ball in the air as a defender. He doesn't just try and punch it away. He tries to mark it. He wins it back. He's able to switch play through the middle, and they get clean transition play to Winderlick here.
Very kickable from this pocket. Jason Winderlick, only 35 metres now. That's on target. That is a goal. Really nicely stroked by Jason Winderlick.
Yeah, nice finish from Winderlick. It's been a big addition back into the side. Great to see his health and fitness up and running okay. But they'll go to the tape after this game when they get back to Melbourne, and it'll be Jake Carlisle who they'll look at. So that is so important to have a defender who can take marks like that. It's great stuff. Let's have a look at the mark that set up the goal. Look at Carlisle, just turned around, focused on the footy, and that's what great defenders do. And you've got a dangerous opponent, it's easy to get sucked into what they're doing. He's turned himself into a sensational player, Carlisle, because he always just keeps his eye on the footy. And
then the quick play on Darson, it just opens up your whole forward line for you when you can win the ball back in that position. Great play.
Cameron's forced to throw it up. Beautiful tap from Ryder out the back to Howlett. Gee, it was good. Rosa to Pritis. Goddard, been prominent already, just behind the footy. Out wide, looking for Cranmery.
Get the feeling the Bombers put a heap of work into their centre clearances tonight. West Coast last week scored 11 goals for from centre clearances. Paddy Ryder's effort there was just sensational. I think they realise on this big ground at home, they have to break even around the stoppages, Essendon.
Zaharakis gets it forward. The advantage of playing in front lands with Hurley. Loves to kick either side. He showed then. Long ball in. Winderlick there again. Butler did well. Brown through a little bit of traffic. Caught in the tackle. Quick kick around the corner. Magnificent stuff. Bombers get their second.
Fantastic work by Hurley there. Takes the mark at half forward. Gets the quick play on inside the forward 50. And that's just a Crummers goal. Yeah, Merritt, he's played a few good games this year. He's played the 7 matches, and that's his 6th goal. He's a player of the future for the Bombers. He's shown a little bit inside forward 50.
Yeah, it was the Bombers' clearance work that opened the door for Jackson Merritt. He found himself in the right position. They just have had some real good opportunity when they've been inside 50, the Bombers. They look dangerous here early in this game.
Cox, no eye for the ball there, allowed Ryder to get on the end of it. Naston to Pritis. Over the left side, tackled from behind by fast closing Davey. Rosa, nicely done. Little handball into Delzeal, goes long. Kennedy got rid of his man first and then clunked it. He did that really well. Engaged, had the break between bodies and then concentrated on the mark.
And probably just about the hardest defender in the comp to do this. It was a good kick by Delzeal. Just held him off with the one arm there, BT. You called it beautifully. Protected the drop zone. Like any good forward, you have to know where the ball's going to land. He held off Carlisle and took a great contested mark.
So Kennedy approaches, and we all know about the approach. And there it is. Just winds it up and normally kicks it reasonably well, and that one not so.
Hey, Lingy, any midfield matchups we need to know about down there?
Yes, Richo, a couple of surprising ones. Andrew Gaff, Nick Commer's got the job on him, which is not renowned to be a tagger. And the other one is Mark Hutchings has got the job on Jobe Watson. Again, probably hasn't had a lot of run with roles, but 2 matchups I'll be keeping a very close eye on.
There is the player you speak of, Hutchings there.
You know, an issue for Josh Kennedy at the moment. The whole crowd are sitting back, waiting for the stutter step. They're building a bit of a frenzy as he's coming in to kick. I don't think that helps him either. It's
become a bit of a sort of
it's like a circus act, isn't it?
Marston cans out the side. I think long term it's not a good thing, but it has caught on around. You go to an Auskick clinic or anywhere around Australia and they're all practicing it. They love it. It's in with the kids, make no mistake. Howlett sold the hand candy, but the kick inside not so good. Nat Nui with strength. Watson, hand on the shoulder of Gaff, unlucky not to get one. Now Howlett, who started all this in the middle of the ground, goes wide and finds Bagley. Sort of an inconspicuous player. Bagley has really been consistent. Heppel arrives just before Schofield, who is a late inclusion because of the absence of Shuey here tonight.
Not their preferred style, this Essendon at the moment. They've had to go into a bit of a holding pattern here. They are the best side for mark play-ons in the competition, but West Coast at the moment have held them up pretty well.
Merritt. Long ball, Winderlick pushed out of position by Delzeal. Goes into the back, Davey spills on his wrong side. Had to straighten up, went with a little left foot poker. and did it well.
Yeah, they had to manufacture that goal. It was slow play from half-back. They switched the ball. They got it into the middle to Heppel. Then they had to go outside again. It was a patient build-up and really made something out of nothing on that occasion. Alwyn Davey is having a solid year. 16th goal as a small forward. What a bad effort.
So Alwyn Davey kicking that goal, the oldest player out on the field tonight, 29 years of age.
Yeah, disappointing that Davey had that space there. His opponent just got drawn into the play and Davey just sat back, and that's too easy. The inside 50.
Out there for the Bombers, of course. Rosa. 3 in a row for Essendon.
They've only gone inside 54 times, the Bombers. They've kicked 3 goals.
Stanton to centre half forward. Winderlick there. Butler all over the back of him. Cranmery looking for the fend off. The skip through was nice. Zaharakis advances the ball further downfield. A real big opportunity. Winderlick, great mark.
Well, that was great play by Cranmery. He went to the front of the pack and his direct opponent went to the back, and he was the one who could win the football there. You can see Mackenzie went to the back and then lost touch on Cranmery, and he was able to effect that kick into Winderlick, who can kick his second goal, but you should always go to the front, and that's what Cranmery did.
Really spreading the West Coast defence nicely. They're getting one-on-ones everywhere at the moment, the Bombers inside 50.
Winderlick comes in for his second goal of the night. Looks pretty good. It's spot on. He's got a couple of Bombers 4 in a row.
As we often say, all forwards want is a one-on-one chance, and if you can manufacture that, you are in great shape. And so far, they just look out of sorts, the Eagles' defence. Darren Glass is coming off. He hasn't got a matchup he likes. So too Winderlick, but 5 inside 50s for 4 goals, Essendon. Keep that up, they're on track for some sort of record.
We'd be just having a little chat to James Hird there. You'd assume that'd be a pretty positive message. 2 goals, Jason Winderlick. It's good to see him out there. He's had so many injury troubles over the years.
Well, even early in the game last week when we saw West Coast playing Hawthorn, we felt the West Coast intensity was there. And
yeah.
I'm just not sure right now that it is of what it was last week for West Coast, so they'll need to spark things up a little bit. Watson out of the middle. Kick is extremely wide. West Coast got some numbers here. Ball kept alive on that occasion by Smith. Palmer, Howlett and Melksham all combining. Melksham squeezes one along the boundary line. Didn't go over. Somehow that stayed in, and Mackenzie happy to see it over in the end.
Boys, I'm not sure that John Worsfold will be happy with the matchup at the moment. Daniel Kerr and David Zaharakis. Zaharakis having too much influence, the 6 touches already. He's setting up goals, he's getting clearances. They're playing too wide of each other.
There is the man you speak of, Lingy. Zaharakis immediately into the action. Watson confronted by Butler.
Well, Essendon are winning the centre clearances so far in the game, Richo, 4-2. I know it was a big focus for them. They're having a bit of a think about whether this was out of bounds on the full. The boundary umpire was blindsided by West Coast. Let's have a look at the replay here. Watson into the shin, the foot. It's actually an Essendon free kick.
It is. Hard to see from that, though, isn't it?
Almost impossible. Yep. West Coast won the centre clearances 20-9 last week against Hawthorn. At the moment, the Bombers have started superbly in that part of the game.
Curtis once again, the man that instigated this for a forward. Carlisle peels off. Winderlick just back onto the ground again, involved here to Pears. He goes even wider to Hibberd, and Hibberd to Goddard now. Starting to find their targets by foot, looking very sharp after the break last week. Goddard goes long and deep inside 50. Couldn't find the target in the air. Mackenzie looks to extract. Mitch Brown was there. Mackenzie follows up his own work, and umpire blows.
Nice boundary throwing. It went out of bounds back there. Once again, it was a Carlisle mark, Richard, at half back. It just changes the whole course of the game when you don't get a contest at centre forward. And as you said earlier, the brilliant thing about Carlisle, he's a good kick and he gets it moving through the middle of the ground. And They're getting smashed through half forward. They've got to find a way to compete better there, West Coast.
Off hands to Zaharakis. Looking for a little bit of bend, and he just misses. Beautiful ruck work from Ryder.
Well, Lingy just spoke about that matchup and the space that Zaharakis is getting. That's his 8th disposal, and he just got goal side there of Daniel Kerr. Had a stoppage inside forward 50.
So what do you want to see happen there, Lingy?
Well, either Daniel Kerr needs to take on the responsibility of playing a lot tighter on him, or perhaps John Worsfold will look at changing up the matchup, getting a better defensive player perhaps onto Zaharakis. He's having too much influence.
Free kick against Ryder there, and he's paid 50 for lobbing the footy back, which, well, I've seen worse paid than let go than that. It's pretty hard-headed umpire Margets at times.
Yeah, you're very officious.
I don't mind the aggression from Ryder, though. I think the Bombers ruckman tonight have really set themselves. They know they're up against the biggest challenge in the game, and they look like they're right on tonight.
One out of the loop here. It was Shepherd that got out. It was nicely done. A really good block put on by his teammate to get him out. Unfortunately, the kick couldn't quite find him.
We're at this stoppage now where we see Daniel Kerr is still on Zaharakis, so they're continuing with that matchup, and he's nearly got it again.
There they are, both of them.
Okay. Did land his back, no?
You see on the back of this stoppage, Comma is on Gaff. Gaff only the 2 disposals, and he's the first player tagged at the moment.
Gaff to Rosa.
After. West Coast. Nick is through to the ground now.
Free kick West Coast here after he disposed of the ball. So a patchy old start to this game here at the moment. Kennedy and Rose are both arriving a little late. And Stanton, that half back.
If they can get a switch here, the Bombers. Goddard's all on his own on this wing.
Thomas driven forward to the tackle. I don't think he was ever going to get the free kick, but did he get into his back at the end? The umpire said it made no attempt. And Butler's ball.
On the screen before, you would have seen the marks from opposition kicks come up. It was 4-0 Essendon's way, and that's the Jakey Carlisle factor so far in this game.
It's just such a weapon for them, Das, because you talk about Carlisle's had 2 already. You see this high tackle maybe on Comma. Hooker's the #1 intercept player in the comp. Carlisle can do it. Hibbert's really good at it, and their defence has such a great ability to win it back and get them moving.
Crittison amongst it again. Kerr stole it out, or got him on to McGinnity there. Eventually the Bombers have found a way out. Winderlick, who's working both ends of the ground, goes back to Hibbert. Been a fine player for the Bombers, and now Stanton, the kicker, on the end of all that. They worked it well. It was a difficult kick. Schofield did well. He said, come on, someone come and get the footy. In the end, the handball wasn't perfect from Glass.
You saw the West Coast forward half there pressing up and doing a reasonable job. Last year, when they were a really strong side, they're almost the best forward pressure team in the game, Richo. A lot of us thought they'd go on and make the grand final and not lose a game here at Patterson Stadium. On the back of that, they just haven't quite been as strong in that area this year.
Gaff looking for Lacroix.
The continuity with players has definitely been a problem. Obviously, that man there, Lacroix, was out early with the broken arm. He's got the guard on. They've lost Selwood, Shuey, Hearn this week. They just haven't been able to get their best team out there for a period of time, and it's really hurt them this year.
Cox knocked down Melksham on the end of it, intercepted by Kerr. Had a quick shot. It was really well done out of the stoppage by Kerr.
Daniel Kerr, so good around the stoppages. Kicks a nice goal from that clearance. Lingy's talked about that matchup, him and Zaharakis tonight. Gets one back. Zaharakis 8 disposals, but gets a little bit back with a nice goal. There's that stoppage there. Zaharakis and Kerr, and they're playing wide of each other, all right. Daniel Kerr had 3 or 4 metres at a stoppage. Zaharakis got drawn into it. Curry stayed back, and just an easy snap-on goal for him.
Stanton with the clearance this time, looking for Hurley, did really well. Mitch Brown. All over the top. A bit of a fumble, Delzil. Marston involved. Looking for Rose. I really realised he had someone on his back. Marston goes himself, but Carlisle again.
See Carlisle there. He's done the old fake the arms in the air, trying to bluff Kennedy that the footy was coming earlier.
It's a veteran's trick, that one does.
One of yours, Bristol. I can see you.
Young man's doing it.
Calling that one out.
Jakey Carlisle is right up through the middle. Now finds some space and time. Looking for Goddard. Goddard in the one-on-one with Butler. He's a good aerialist. Here's Cramery on the ground. Little handball back inside. Davies slipping over now. McGinnity to rip it out of defence and just got a little bit of space here. Now the Eagles can go. The target is Kennedy. A long ball over the head of Carlisle. Did well to engage. Kennedy at the back. Just works it forward. It'll go out of bounds though. Deep for West Coast.
I reckon he needed to take possession then, Josh Kennedy. He had a runner on the inside. He could have easily given the handball across, I think it was Schofield, and he could have run into an open goal, but
just a lack of voice there, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're Schofield and you're out, you would be screaming, take possession and handball it. Just a bit out of sorts, West Coast early in this game.
Melksham, a kick under pressure without thought, straight on the awaiting arms of McGinnity. McGinnity pumps it back, hoping for someone to get on the end of this. Darling was there. Hooker did well with the big body across the back. Kennedy with a really good tackle to ground. Delzil got it to Lacroix. Pressured by Comma.
Scored a lot of goals West Coast last week against Hawthorn. Just the old-fashioned bomb it long to the hot spot, as basic a footy as you could ever get. But tonight, the Essendon defence are a bit more organised. As you keep saying, Richard, they're better at marks from opposition kicks. So I think that's just got to be...
Got to lower your eyes
a bit more direct tonight, don't they?
Yeah. Look at the amount of players within a kick of the footy here.
Yeah, they've pressed right up here, the Eagles, and opportunity for another inside 50.
Horrible kick by Butler, completely off the side of the boot. Merritt was there. Kerr, an over-the-top hand candy. That's impressive. Umpire says you let it go, dropping the footy. Stanton to just slow things down for Essendon a little. There's Howlett. Goes even wider, Howlett. Want to share the footy around. Winderlick already kicked a couple of goals in this first quarter here at half-back now. Long ball, Cramery, well in the air. Looking to get it back inside. Little poker finds Howlett. Got a bit of attention, time to recover the footy. Wants Cramery to come again, but he just stood back waiting for it. Thought he probably had to run into his vision. And Delzil
just starting to get a little bit of momentum back now. The Eagles need to get on the scoreboard because they've had the best of play for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Nat Nui the target. Bell Chambers arrived late. That's always dangerous when Nat Nui's in front.
Love to see him add a bit more of this to his game, Richo. We spoke about it last week. He's got to get out into space and take more marks and really provide that running option. I think that's the area that he's got a fair bit of improvement.
First touch for Nat Nui. Coming at the 23-minute mark here.
Yeah, he's so good around the clearances. We know that. His ruck work's amazing. He follows up at ground level as well as any ruckman probably ever to play the game. Just needs to be able to burst into space and get himself some easy ball. He just doesn't get enough easy football at the moment.
Dempsey went with the hands and perhaps not the body. Doesn't matter though, because Melksham to Watson. He says, where's the kicker? I need one. I'm not sure Hooker was the man, but that's all he had to choose from in the end.
Also remembering Nick Natanui is going to enter the screen now. He had the delayed start to the year, was virtually not able to do pre-season. I think it might have been a groin issue or a lower leg problem.
Groin, I think it was, yep.
And very few players are able to hit their straps without the fitness base behind them, so it's been a struggle for him.
Gee, the little ruck taps that Paddy Ryder has been involved in already in this game. One over the back, one to the side, one to the front.
He's been sensational, Ryder. We spoke about the dominance that you get from Cox and Natanui. Well, Ryder's stood up big time so far in this game.
Hutchings in there. Got the footy now. Little kick to Darling, confronted by an aggressive Winderlick. Now Pears has got it all to do with McGinnity. One-on-one battle here. Pears uses the body. Good shepherd in the end. Allowed for that separation there. Delzil coughed it up, gave it to Lacroix. Lacroix around the corner. Hooker with the fist right on the line.
Hey, Lee, you spoke about Zaharakis' dominance. He's the leading possession gatherer on the ground. Have they made a change there?
Yeah, I think they have, Darcy. It looks as though Matty Pritis now is certainly on him around stoppages. Pritis so good at the stoppages, trying to limit Zaharakis' influence. Around the ground, I think the Eagles have finally got it right. They're actually helping each other now and covering him as a team so he doesn't get that damaging footy through the middle.
They've had 7 out of the last 8 inside 50s, the Eagles. They need to make the most of this.
Matt Nui, the give and go to Pritis. Right on the boundary line. Here comes Darling. Got a free run at the footy. Was interfered with by Carlisle. Umpire lets it go. Fair enough. Now Lacroix lurking dangerously. Darling for his second go. And eventually the ball spills loose in the tackle. And Darling and Dempsey become entangled. Did this last week, West Coast, when it looked like Hawthorn were going to go early, and all of a sudden West Coast were able to work their way back into the footy.
But they've just got a great setup behind the footy. Darren Glass, who is one of the most experienced defenders in the game, he's able to just sit back, play that last defender role, and they won't get through at the moment, Essendon, if he's allowed to do that.
That was Ryder again. Got to pay some respect to Paddy Ryder, who's a brilliant athlete in his own right. He's just done his homework really well tonight. Look at that. He's going early and he's out leaping Natanui.
He's probably the only one who can leap with him, Darcy, you reckon, in the comp?
And Nananui's not used to it. He's not used to someone who's smart enough to work out the right angle turn. Ryder's just taking it right up to him.
Doing really good at it, isn't he? Pritis. And now an opportunity for Smith. Long footy off line to the right-hand side. Unusual sort of do on it. It's got the
that's the
hit top with a little bit of curl off to the side.
Yeah, that's the hipster hairdo, BT. You should give that a run at some stage.
Where is that prevalent, Richo?
Would it be around the Fitzroy sort of Collingwood area
if
in
you're
Melbourne?
in Victoria?
Yeah, I'm not sure about Perth.
Given you put the rinse through it, BT, that's probably the next step, is a little bit of an undercut.
Who for? Marston you talking about, or me?
For you.
Oh, now come on, Darcy, he's up.
You have got a bit of colour through there,
no colour, comma, nothing.
You sure?
Absolutely positive. Mackenzie, concentrate on the footy, you blokes. Butler, right on the boundary line. High ball, Cox the target, hooker there, but Cox did really well. 55 out, handball to Kerr on the run. Launches from 52. High ball to the square, Darling. Marked in the square, so it'll be directly in front.
Well, that is great to see. Dean Cox drawing hooker up outside 50, taking a mark on him, gets it off to Curry, gets it in, and it gives Darling a one-on-one chance. Hooker's normally that man coming in, intercepting, but they've made him accountable a few times just outside 50.
To get it back to 4 points, a certain goal coming up for West Coast. Darling kicks it, and West Coast back within 4.
Great mark by Jack Darling. He's just a very, very consistent player for such a young forward. He can mark. He's probably, for a big forward, probably the best tackler for his size in the competition. His ability to run down players from behind is outstanding, but he can do all the things that great forwards can do. And this has been a great period by the Eagles. They've fought back really well.
Super talented player is the man who takes this big pack mark, Jack Darling. But I think that's probably the area of his game that he can still improve on. He doesn't take a lot of big pack marks. He's brilliant on the lead. He's brilliant in the one-on-ones. But if he can add that, the big pack mark to his game, he's going to be a star.
Smith out of the pack there. Hutchins gets on the end of it. Here he comes again. Kennedy. Darling for the contest. A little one around the corner. Watson got it from Hibberd, but once again, Schofield.
It's got a really good setup behind the footy at the moment, the Eagles. That's allowing them to dominate play in their forward half.
And Richo, West Coast have really got back under control David Zaharakis. He hasn't had a touch in the last 15 minutes. And in that time, the entries have been 10 entries to Essendon's 1. So he was the one who really kick-started the Bombers game. West Coast have reeled him back in nicely.
Yeah, at 8 in the first 14 minutes, Lee, he was absolutely dominating, and you're right, hasn't touched it since.
Hutchings drives it inside 50, gives the big man another chance there. Hibberd was able to round it up, and Stanton tries to just ram it down the line. But as Richo said, they've got such a good setup behind the ball, the Eagles. repelling and giving themselves multiple opportunities here. So it's impressive, an impressive little fight back here. Naitanui tried to find Kennedy. Hooker with some handy hand work as well. The smother was good, and that was Lacroix.
Well, look at that, inside 50s, last 9 of the last 10, all West Coast. They've absolutely turned the momentum of this game around.
You can see in the back of the screen there, Beau Waters, he's just running up towards 50 now, but he was loose also, and he's a great intercept player.
Funny little kick off the boot of Heppel. Just under 20 seconds remaining here, so you'd think the Eagles are the only ones that can score from this position in the remaining seconds of the quarter.
Need to get Daniel Kerr on the move here.
Bombers kicked 4 of the first 5 goals. West Coast have got the next 2, and now is that deliberate? It is. Loves paying those, Dean Margetts, and with 8 seconds on the clock.
It was like the slips cord and all going up as one there. They appealed, didn't they, in unison, the West Coast Eagles around the footy. Now a chance for Marston.
And the runner just out there being told to move away by the umpire. He was shouting at Marston, don't play on, not enough time.
Okay, Marston comes in and sprays that one across the face, and the result, we'll see a Bomber 3-point lead here at quarter time, I would think. So really good composure shown by the Eagles here to bring themselves back into this game. Siren sounds to complete the quarter, and West Coast 3-4-22 trail the Bombers 4-1-25. Paper.
Nicely done. There's the skipper, Jobe Watson, 9 possessions in the first quarter. You can see there the view from the West Coast box. It's now a few blank sheets of paper looking in. That makes me laugh a lot.
Just going a little too far.
Maybe a little childish.
Put a couple of disguises on as well.
Back in the middle here. Starting this second quarter, the Bombers by 3 points. Marston, Prittis bores in, got it off. Nice little handball to Shepherd, and here go the Eagles immediately to Kennedy on the lead.
Well, I'm sure they would have spoken at quarter time about the fact that their centre clearances were well down. That's the first genuine break out of the middle we've seen. And look what happens. Their big forward, Josh Kennedy, gets a crack at it.
It's not taking much time here.
Oh, look at that, the shakes. The Bombers led by as much as 18 in that first quarter, and here's Kennedy, got it right to the line, a couple of metres short. And now,
BT, do you reckon that's where that style may hurt him a little bit, those long range ones? It's hard to get a lot of distance when you only have those 3 momentum steps into it.
Just think the whole thing's not sustainable over a long period of time, and in big games, Richo.
How do you fix it, though? It's a stutter, isn't it? It's like
slowly
something you can't control.
It is, and the only thing you can say to set shot goal kickers is you've got to do what you're comfortable with in your own skin doing, and you know that's the question he would ask himself, I guess.
Justin Longmuir spoke during the week that he's quite comfortable doing. They've just got to work on him not getting too close to the man on the mark. That's when he gets himself in trouble.
Yeah, he does, because he actually doesn't know how many little sewing machine steps he's going to take, and draws a little close at times. Howlett off half back here. Looking for Watson, missed him. Mitch Brown, handball stolen by Cramery. Cramery over the top to Davey. Dempsey there as well. He elects to go wide. Good play here. Merritt, little kick. Dempsey's run really hard. The kick let him down, and Smith for West Coast marks.
He's not happy, Dempsey. That was a real foot race back inside the Essendon 450. Just poor disposal.
They had the real paddock work there, didn't they, Richo? They're running back hard.
It's the first time they've been able to break through that Eagles press.
Gaff just whacked it on the boot. Darling was able to get rid of one. Now he fronts the goals. He went from 60 to 40. Had a low shot, and he's just missed. Got a bit of the post.
Come on, Jake.
Carlisle looking for Ryder. Gee, thought he had that gloved and taken. Now Lacroix with an opportunity to score right to the line. Kennedy gets back. Shepherd there as well. Danger here for the Bombers. Carlisle tidies up. Hibbert involved and relieving the pressure ever so slightly. Now the ball's wide to Comer. Comer and halfback plays on. Got Merritt on. Once again the kick wasn't great. It needed to be over Glass's head and longer. And it was not.
This is as good as I've seen the Eagles press working for a long time. They're just not putting enough scoreboard pressure on, though. They're not getting the benefit out of it at the moment.
Waters, he was undecided. There's the result of that indecision. Cramery now, Kerr, Davey and Howlett all line up. Eventually got rid of it. The umpire gave him a while. 3-on-1 here. Cramery with a pirouette out of trouble. Winderlick onto Dempsey, driving from 45. Dempsey, really good play, Bombers.
Yeah, and that hurts the Eagles because they have dominated the last part of the first quarter and the early parts of this second quarter, but Dempsey gets the first goal and the Bombers scoot out to a little 8-point lead.
This is one of those clangers that haunt you for days, Richo. Jobe Waters, he just dropped the footy, hesitated, and Essendon have been very good at punishing the turnovers, and that one was one that won't sit all that well.
First score for 19 minutes for the Bombers, and in that time West Coast managed to kick 2 goals for. Brown had the momentum through the arm tackle there by Hurley. The kick is not good. Heppel got in the way, but was unable to hang on to the mark. Ball in the Cox direction, over the back, went through the toes of Kennedy as well. Carlisle's there, left standing. LeCras swoops on the footy, left foot around the corner to Darling. He marks. Gee, was going to go too, and he may still play on here. He does immediately. Kick around the body. Gee, the Bombers weren't awake to that and ready. It was always going to happen.
Yeah, Jack Darling kicked the goal at the end. Big Coxie was just ready to launch at him. He thought he maybe should have dished off. When you decide to take it on yourself, well, make sure you go back and kick the goal. And that's what he did his second of the night. Jack Darling is a very talented young man. Good finish.
Please, guys.
Yeah, great play here by Mark LeCras. Really burst through, won a ball at ground level and got that ball in that Darling marked. It's not a strength of the Eagles. They rely on taking marks inside forward 50. If they can get more dangerous play at ground level like that, will go a long way to them being able to win this game tonight.
Watson to Stanton. Stanton inside 50. Eagles glass the skipper to tidy up in the last line of defence. He blew past Ryder. Handball was good to McKenzie. Now they need to be careful out of defence. And Melksham, a really good grab. Probably would have been out of bounds in the full. Anyway. Jakey Melksham. Back inside 50. There's a hold here. And it's going to go the way of the Bombers. By Dean Margetts. He does see what others don't see.
Jakey Melksham's best delivered kick. He had Ryder at the back, who we know can take a massive hanger. He just punched it too low. Probably needed to give that one a bit more elevation.
Yeah, he had a chance to really get a run at it, Ryder, but it just didn't hang in the air long enough.
Yeah, I believe the free kick was against that man Ryder. Here's Cox. Shepherd said razor Ray Chamberlain. And it'll go the way of Bell Chambers. Bell Chambers hammers it toward the pot. Ryder's got a bit of a jump at it though. He's got a spring. And he looks up and about tonight, Paddy Ryder.
There's the difference, just a bit of elevation. Let him use his hang time. And as you said, Bristol, he's right up and about Paddy Ryder. I think he's been enormous in this game. His hands are sticky. He looks like he's ready to fight.
So right now he's thinking about, what do I do here? Am I going to kick the drop punter or am I going to run around and kick the ball around the corner?
He's a specialist at the one around the corner, Richo.
We've seen a couple of them from him, haven't we?
Have a look at him.
He's gone.
He's making up in his own mind, and he does exactly that, and he executes very nicely indeed. That's a man that's 6'6".
Never ever, they loved it there, the young Essendon fans. Never ever look like missing. Modern day players are so good at kicking around the corner now. You just really back them in every time. And Paddy Ryder, he's really good at it for a big man. Well, here he is, Paddy Ryder. I've seen him do this 3 or 4 times in the last 12 months. He doesn't look like missing those. It's just part of the modern footballers' arsenal now, those around the corner snaps.
In the back, Essendon. Stanton.
Free kick going the way of Stanton. And
back by Stanton, comes into Zaharakis. And Zaharakis goes inside 50, right of the target again. Cramery now, Marston on the end of this, able to get it to Waters. Waters to Butler. Out of defence with a little kick, and short ball finds Kennedy's well up from centre half. So Kennedy's kick. Schofield made it look a little better than it was. Did well the late inclusion. Schofield, a ball into space will be marked. Dalziel, the marker.
Yeah, he pushed really hard, Dalziel. He's an elite endurance runner, and he simply outran his opponent there, Dempsey, back inside forward 50. And it was a good kick by Schofield after a really good contested mark. Played on quickly, got it inside.
To make it 2 goals apiece here in the second quarter. Early stages, only 9 minutes into it.
15 gone.
Dalziel. Pretty easy shot, 25 to 30 metres out. Absolutely no wind here tonight. And he kicks it nice and straight. The Eagles back within 2.
You call the gut running ability of Brad Dalziel, and that's one of his great strengths. That's what you need to play to, and push back, kept his eye on the footy, took a good mark. Goal for goal here in this contest. Not disappointing. It's a massive, massive game for both clubs. West Coast desperately need to win their home games. Essendon trying to hang on to a spot in the top 4.
There's the last 10 inside 50s, and there's the last 10 goals. So goal for goal at the start of this second quarter. It's turning into a really good contest now. It's opening up a little bit. Scoring's becoming a little bit easier at the start of this second quarter.
McGinnity and Elwyn Davey doing really well, not giving Davey any space at all there. McGinnity, and he's won himself a free.
Has to go down the line there because the Bombers did really well to block his ability to come across the ground, and they've done that so well this year. They defend the arcs, between the arcs really well, force you to go down the line, and then they get marks like that, intercept marks.
Turned himself into a good player, Michael Hibbert. Only 35 games in, and one of the most improved players in the game.
Just looks like he's played 150, doesn't he? He looks so solid, consistent. Gaff and Pritis combine here. Not once, but twice.
Push in the back.
Down the line, free kick that'll be. In fact, it'll come back. But to West Coast. See a push to Gaff off the ball there. By Gaff to Kerr, who was interfered with by Howlett. So Kerr with the free here, right on the wing. West Coast have yet, other than the first goal of the game, haven't been able to get their heads back in front. This man Darling doing his best to make sure that happens. Kick around the corner, had a lot of air on it. Kennedy arriving late, but Hibbert got in the way.
Hey Lee, I want to ask you about Daniel Kerr. Where's he at in his career at the moment? Going back 3 or 4 years, was one of the best players in the game, in my opinion. Just doesn't seem to be able to have the same impact that he used to have when he was absolutely flying.
No, I think Darcy's body would have taken an absolute hammering over the years, so he's struggling to cover the ground, but he's still so good at the stoppages, so good in the contested situations. And when he gets a chance up forward running through 50, he doesn't miss too often, so still a very, very good player.
Nui able to cut that one off. Now the run, the acceleration, gets away from Bell Chambers, but he messed up the bounce. Now he has to go back and get it. Kerr to Rosa. Really good play. Shepherd dragged down in the tackle. Howlett head over the footy. Picked up Schofield. Shepherd again. An option with a little bit of time this time. Messed it up again. The Bombers. Pressure was good. Hibbert, for one of the few times, looked a little rattled there, but he got it to Melcham. Now Pears. Genuine centre-half back area. Handball, Dempsey. Under pressure. You'd reckon they've got to turn it over sooner or later, and there it is. Now Shepherd, long ball in. Kennedy at the back to approach. Carlisle helps it through.
Geez, the heat's gone up in this game, and both sides trying to own the corridor, and there's a heap of numbers through that part of the ground. The players are getting attacked as soon as they gain possession, and it's turnover after turnover. It really has gone to another level, this game, all of a sudden. Is that a few Bronxies for Jobe Watson tonight?
I think it is, Darcy, and it's very unfair.
Geez, that's harsh, isn't it? I staggered to hear that.
Fine.
Yeah, Bronxies because of the drug controversial
Because of the story this week, and West Coast crowd have jumped on top of that.
Short ball. Mitch Brown. Darling. Dempsey.
Gee, they're out there through West Coast. Just that one fumble by Darling. It's harsh to say so, but one fumble in modern footy and it's all over.
I'll tell you what has happened is Goddard looked up. West Coast at the start of the game, they kicked 4 goals in a row there in the first quarter. They were getting better run and breaking through free and spreading a bit hard. At the moment, West Coast are on top, really able to man them up and turn it over.
Gaff. Long ball, Lacroix in front, hands on it, well done. From behind by Bagley.
Boys, you spoke about the intensity going up through the roof. Well, this has been a fast-paced quarter. That boundary throwing that's about to happen now is only the 3rd stoppage for the quarter. So all players on the ground are doing a lot of work, not much rest.
Hey, Lee, as this kick comes out of centre wing, how much harder for people at home is this ground? It's bigger than other grounds around the country, and it just seems to take more out of you trying to run around in this big stadium here.
Yeah, it does, but the good thing is if you do work hard, you really get value for your running. You can always find some space and find the footy, but you need to be prepared to work extremely hard like West Coast are at the moment.
Delzeal. 70 from home. Kennedy's back. High ball. Bombers line up. Pears, really good mark from the side there.
Yeah, he was the loose man then, Pears, and geez, it was a good mark. Just bombing it in a little bit too much, the Eagles. They just got to lower their eyes. They're dominating inside 50s.
Brown did knock it away from Goddard. He's been very, very quiet in this quarter here. Kerr to Delzeal. Delzeal was really good to Prentice. Prentice puts it into the hot spot. It was well done by Bagley to work his man under the footy. Crowd wanted a free. Hook up to Hibberd. Spun out of trouble. Now Bagley's under enormous pressure. Great release handball. Melcham as well. Watson involved. And out of trouble, but only momentarily here. The Bombers, because they've lost possession of the footy. Hibberd bangs in, and this game has really lifted.
This is the West Coast press that we've spoken about for the last couple of years, coming back to its absolute best. They are right up on the Bombers. Great defence at the moment.
Gaff. A little over. Strength on the kick. Up the guts. Howe at the run of Dempsey again. He gloved that in the claw beautifully. Little kick was just a little too heavy for Merritt, but he's won himself a free against Butler.
Just really overplayed that, Sam Butler. He had the perfect sit. He just didn't need to go into the back of young Jackson Merritt. You just see, he put his arm over the shoulder. It was a clumsy, spoiling effort. He had the absolute perfect position and just a bit of an experience.
Gee, Dempsey's hurt the Eagles a few times on the rebound, on the counter-attack through the middle of the ground.
So Merritt basically directly in front. Kick of 35 to 40 metres, and he sprayed it to the right.
Butler gives me a little bit to go on with. Not really an experienced Sam Butler. He's played 100 games, which is a little surprising as I look down at his numbers.
Now that'll be out of bounds on the full as no one touched the kick in. Bell Chambers has got the free. Dempsey being spoken to there by the medical staff on the bench.
Does he put it to the top of the square or have a crack, BT?
Well, if he thinks he can't get it, that's where it should go, and that's where it's gone, Richo. Good call. Cox was there.
I watched Paddy Ryder. His opponent was Dean Cox. He just got a bit tired and a little bit lazy there, Paddy Ryder. He gave him 10 metres of space. Cox is so disciplined. He'll always get to the right spot. Ryder's been great, but you just got to run when it's your turn to run, and he let himself down a bit there.
Brutus and Watson go at the footy very fairly, and this will force one of the rare stoppages in this quarter.
Andrew Gaff's been able to get himself into the game this quarter. He's had 7 disposals. He's had Comma tagging him all night, but when he gets the footy, when he plays well, the Eagles play well. It's been tagged this year.
With brute strength, was able to force the footy forward. Hurley in amongst it. Now Marston. So the Eagles under some real bomber pressure here because they are retaining the ball at their forward end of the ground. Just wondering whether Hurley may need to go back again, guys. He just doesn't look like there he is going competing, may kick a goal just as I say that, but certainly in the aerial contest doesn't look like it at the moment. Butler. Unity Marston.
Still think he's a more natural defender, Michael Hurley. Yep. And I think Jack Carlisle could just be an enormous forward. So I think it's something they've got up their sleeve. If required, they can sort them over, but I'd do it permanently.
Rosa just got rid of it with a Merritt tackle. But the turnover almost complete. Marston there, tackled by Merritt. Another ball up.
Talk about Michael Hurley as forward versus defender. He wants to play as a forward. He really wants to take some ownership over that centre forward position and be the leader up there for the Bombers.
You know that, Lingy, do you?
Yes, I do. Talking to a few of the assistant coaches at Essendon, they've said Hurley really wants to take on that role and be one of the quality centre forwards in the competition.
And what would you be telling him?
Well, he's just got to keep working on it. He runs himself under the ball sometimes. He's got to pick up the flight a bit earlier. Richo talks about protecting his space. He's just got to be a bit smarter when the ball's in the air.
Kennedy the first to recover from this contest here. Little left foot kick. Lacroix over the top with the one hand. Couldn't quite get it done. So the Eagles all of a sudden got a chance at their end. They'll be hungry to get this one deep and forward. They'll do it now. Little kick comes wide. Lacroix's recovered. Wanted to get back on the left. Caught in the Howlett tackle. Bagley there to tidy things up.
Free kick down the field for tackling after possession. Mark Lacroix as a player, Richo, looks like he's just lacking that continuity and fitness. When he's firing, he kicked 12 goals against Essendon, remember. Just can't get it done at the moment.
Here's Hurley. The push. He had the chest mark. Couldn't quite finish it off. He did all the hard work then. And look at him giving himself a whack for not marking that.
Oh, he'd be absolutely filthy. Mark Lacroix was stiff then. He was out. Oh, he's not happy there. He was out. He should have been able to take that mark. It was the kick coming into him. And then Hurley should have marked it down the other end. It's a tough night trying to mark inside 50.
Glass to Pritters to the safety of the goal line if they need it. Waters and Marston. Funny little handball, attracted Gaff to the footy, and now Waters to finish it off on his favoured side. The kick wasn't his best though. Bell-Chambers ran over the top of it. Mitch Brown athletically trying to get away. Gained 30 metres with a kick. Carlisle turned to the boundary, just wasn't sure about turning inside.
It's only been 8 marks inside 50 all night, 4 to each team. And Cramery and Hurley have not taken one for the Bombers. So their key forwards aren't getting to the footy at the moment.
Marston going real well to Cox. Cox towards the 50. Free kick given away by Lacroix to Bagley. Advantage paid. Bombers got to work here. On the intercept, Stanton. Little kick to Winderlich. Kick 2 in the first quarter. He's got a player out wide in Cramery. No one within 20. They close him down now. He's played on. He's gone forward to the mark. And he kicks it out of bounds on the full.
Well, Butler did really well then. You can see him coming up the Cram. He was on his own for a long time, Cramery. Butler had to run 40 metres from the goal square to come and man the mark then. Forced him into a mistake.
Schofield from the Smith kick. Goddard, Heppel. Hibbert, deliberate knock then to Carlisle. Knew he had Back inside in Dempsey now. The run of Goddard. Goddard with a beautiful right foot kick. A little too much under it, or did Hurley run under the ball? Perhaps the kick was a little too heavy in my liking. McGinnity. Rosa caught by Watson. The ball was pinned in the tackle.
King straight away. Thank you, boys. I'm here. Thank you. Enough.
And Michael Hurley's 11 goals from 9 games, mostly as a key forward. So if he wants to play key forward, he's going to need to be more productive than that.
Little palm down. Gee, Comer did well to get his body in the way of the Cox palm down.
He's being wrestled the ground down. He can't control that.
So 20 metres out from the Bomber goal mouth here. Nat Nui on the wing, the tallest of them. Little handball back into Lacroix. This is a one-on-one contest in one half of the ground. It's Darling and Hooker. Hooker and Darling. Back inside. We all remember when Buddy sprinted away from Hooker. But Darling was not going to get it done then. The kick was a shocker. Comes to Lacroix. Lacroix into the open goal.
Yeah, big turnover there. He got the initial contest right with Darling. And then the kick from Hooker, not his finest moment. Mark Lacroix, who's blowing big time. Looks to me a man who's suffering from just not having the right amount of training base. If they can get him safe and keep him out there, his second half of the year will be really strong. He's a quality player.
So the Eagles by 4 points, Richo.
Yeah, Cale Hooker, he did so well. He was one out on Darling. I thought Darling maybe would have too much speed for him. He was able to win the ball, but then kicked it straight back to Mark Lacroix. Costly turnover.
Indeed it was, and now the clearance to go with that once again. Schofield, Heppel, Hibbert and Davey combining now. Davey down the line, little height on the foot. He gave Stanton a chance to run onto it. Just wants to clear out the middle. The kick is good, but it has to be. Gaff over the top to spoil. Winderlich to Pears. The runner out wide here once again. It was a little bit of each. Didn't actually get it to Melksham. Kicked it in front. Melksham recovers the ball back to Pears and gives him another chance. And this time he finds Winderlich, but he's out of kicking range here.
And boys, just really quickly, Will Schofield just limped off there. You saw him on your screen. May have rolled his ankle. I'll keep a close eye on it for you.
Okay, Lingy. In the meantime, the Bombers forward. Ryder had both hands on it. Waters made sure of it.
Hey, Lingy, you're down at ground level. This has absolutely been sold out for over a month. As we look at Will Schofield, we'll get an update from Lingy on that in a moment. Is this the most parochial crowd in Australia here? Because the noise and the atmosphere is right through the roof at the moment.
Oh, absolutely, and they're loving the way West Coast are playing at the moment. They love their defensive pressure they're putting on and creating those turnovers. And just Will Schofield, looks like they were checking out his knee there, so not the ankle. I haven't quite got the credentials of Doc, so I'll be careful with my diagnosis tonight.
Right, just a little late one after the footy, and you can hear the crowd. They get right into it here.
Darling has worked really hard here, but the ball was kicked slightly behind him. He had to pull up from his run. He was 10 metres in front of his man there. Howlett, Stanton and Hibbert all combining in the back half, but believe me, they are under an Eagles press now.
Ooh.
Kicker's got to be perfect.
That was the one man on the field you want to kick it to a 50-50 inside your own defensive 50.
Winderlich underneath. Mackenzie. Merritt got it. Now he's kicked it out wide to Hurley. He's got 20 metres on his man, but all out of bounds.
30 seconds remaining in the half. Lingy, a lot of tired boys out there. There's just no run at all. They're out on their feet.
Yeah, they are. It's been such a fast-paced game. Half-time can't come soon enough. There'll be plenty of blokes resting up, looking for a big second half.
Kerr. Heppel. Once again, Kerr involved. So the Eagles with 20 seconds on the clock go to their forward end of the ground. Kennedy, Carlisle, he's claiming the mark, and it was a really, really late whistle, and I reckon the umpire's done the right thing there.
Jeez, that's interesting though, isn't it? Because if you choose to play on, you choose to play on, or maybe he said he had to go back over his mark, got the benefit of the doubt.
But I just reckon the whistle was that late to us that He had already played on before the whistle had been blown, basically.
Fair point.
Siren sounds. A really good quarter of football, a good half of football. It was fantastic. West Coast with their noses in front by 3 points. 6-6-42 to the Bombers, 6-3-39. So a real entertaining half of football. We saw the West Coast kick 3 of the last 4 goals in that second quarter to put their noses in front. Let's go down to Cameron.
Having any real authority there. The second half is up for grabs for a forward who wants to take 3 or 4 big marks. I reckon I'd move Hurley and Carlisle a la the Carlton game a few weeks ago. I'd give that a try in this second half if things aren't working for James Hird.
Second half underway. Nat Nui.
He almost jumped over the head of Bill Chambers.
It's amazing. Out of the middle, Rosa. This will really lift things here if they can score from this. Schofield. And a little hold on Darling, but that was exhilarating from Nat Nui out of the middle.
What about that athleticism? Look at this. Look at the jump. He has jumped over Bill Chambers' head, who's about 200 centimetres plus.
Here he is this time, very much a one-on-one battle here, though. Lacroix, can he keep it alive? He can. Little right foot kick. It needs a good bounce. Hooker there to save the day.
He's just starting to find a bit of touch now, Mark Lacroix, inside 50. Him and Darling are the only players on the ground who have had more than 2 disposals inside forward 50. Essendon haven't got a winner down there at the moment. They need to find someone in this second half. They're well and truly in the game. Only 4 points down. If they can find someone up forward, that's why I'd give Carlisle a go down there.
Bagley, high ball, Nat Nui intent on making a difference here early in the second half. That one's a little deep into the pocket, but Cox is there. And he has marked. He'll have a difficult shot. No, he won't, because he's given it off to Lacroix. Lacroix had players all around him out of midair. Darling has kicked an absolute ripper. Let's have a listen.
What's your call?
Okay, I believe it's a goal.
Yes, but you just want to check.
I just want to check which side of the post it went.
Yeah, no problem. Score review. We believe it's a goal. All clear for a goal. We'd just like to check that it hasn't gone through from behind.
I don't think there's any doubt that it's a goal.
A very earnest discussion that wasn't. Razor Ray, he likes to get in really close, make sure it's all okay. And
Jack Darling's a little bit bemused by why this is being reviewed. Comes up, there's Lacroix. Magnificent volley here from Darling.
It is. He's got his man Hooker under control. That's a goal. And we'll just have a look at the left goal post as well. Yes, I think it's a goal.
Bit of Del Piero about that.
So that'll be his third. Jack Darling.
So they might rip the stands down here if they overrule it.
The Bombers think it's not. They're lined up for the kick in here. Now, I wonder whether we can freeze frame.
Well, the ball disappears behind the post.
It does.
Goal.
Look at that.
It's a goal. Confirmed goal. Kennedy's got his... Darling's got his third.
Well, that was a good decision for the entire stadium and everyone's health here. They would have started a riot, the West Coast fans, had that have gone the other way. Jack Darling's having an enormous night.
Here's the Nick Nat at that last centre bounce. Bell Chambers just got out of the way there. Thought, I'm not going to be used as a step ladder. What a great ruckman he is. There's only 2 players, we keep saying it, inside forward 50 winning at the moment. It's Lacroix and Darling. And they're starting to look really dangerous.
Perfect bounce there. Nat Nui got out on the end of it. Defensive side of the centre circle goes forward for the Bombers here. Hurley in the scrap. Didn't win it in the air. Davey, ground level, looking for the little handball to Zaharakis. That was cut off. Pritis did well. A little bit of hand candy there. Now down the line with a bit of a tumbler. Underneath it was Bagley. Kennedy got one high. Umpire said he slipped under it. No, he's paid him. No advantage. So it'll come back to Kennedy.
I'm with you, Richo. Michael Hurley's just had 4 possessions. So at 10 points, it's at a really crucial stage in the game. I think I'd put Hurley back in defence. Play him on Darling and see what Carlisle can do.
Come out, guys.
As Richo said, Lacroix really starting to find a little bit of form here. Cox is able to get rid of his man, and the umpire said a hold of the arm will go to Cox against Pears.
Are you kidding? What's the replay, mate?
Pears not happy.
Are you kidding?
Yep.
Watch the replay. We will. We'll have a look.
Have a look at that. Have a look at that.
He's got a fair case. umpire Margetts looked up. It probably was Cox who initiated it and had hold of the jumper.
They're pretty narrow pockets here, Darcy. We're out there before the game, and this is not a bad angle at all for Big Coxie. He will drill this.
For a 16-point West Coast lead early in the third quarter. Cox needs to be straight. He needs a little bit of right to left, and he is. West Coast by 16.
Well, he declared it, Richo, man. He said, put that one down, and that's exactly what happened. Cox, Natanui getting involved, Darling in form. And the West Coast Eagles, with a massive home crowd, are starting to get rolling. Essendon got to think about what they can do move-wise. And one Richo thinks, and I agree with him, is Carlisle back into the forward line and Hurley back.
It's this man here, he can really get on a roll, Lacroix, and you can see his confidence building tonight. There's nothing in that, and we can see why Pearce was pretty annoyed about that free kick. Dean Cox, he's a really good set shot on goal.
They've kicked the last 4 goals of this game, the West Coast.
Well, they've had 13 of the last 17 scores, BT. It's getting to that time where the Bombers need to do something quickly.
Yep. Marston just looking a little more urgent there at the moment. West Coast. McKinney down to the way by Davey. Curls able to go and get it. Looks around the corner, centering kick. Attracts the attention there of Butler. Butler to Gaff. Gaff wide to Glass. Glass will want a handball if he can. Fake the one over the top to McKenzie. Gave it back to Gaff. Runs the full journey. The one bounce to half forward. The kick's a little heavy, but Kennedy made it look really good. Kennedy from 70 out. Slicing ball to Lacroix.
That was a great mark by Kennedy. I thought he should have gone longer with that ball gap. It was on the 50. That's the turnover zone. Marking it there. If that gets spoilt by Carlisle, it goes back the other way. But a great mark.
It was actually a really good kick in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in the end, but it could have been so dangerous there. And Lacroix, he's got a sniff now.
His eyes have lit up here. Mark Lacroix for 3 third-quarter goals. Lacroix from 40, a little to the near side. So the Bombers need to get scootering.
Well, there's the disposals for the quarter. Look at that. Just haven't had the footy at all, Essendon. They've only had 3 touches, and we're 7 minutes into the third quarter. It's unbelievable.
Bellchambers bundled out of the way really easy. Just had the 2 touches of the footy tonight, Bellchambers.
Well, they just got a lot of their good players down. Brendan Goddard only had the 7 disposals. We've talked about their forward line. And Jobe Watson, although he's had 14 disposals, only 4 kicks. He cannot find any space at all.
Heppel confronted immediately. He picked up the footy. Delzeal, fast handball. There's the third for Bellchambers. Carlisle. A zig and a zag to the forward end. Now Cramery wants to take him on. Thought about it. Got the handball out. Davies now got to beat a couple. Glasses there. Back to Butler. They save the day here, the Eagles. Smith now.
So it looks like that move that you called for, Richo, has been made. We just saw Jackie Carlisle's now playing centre forward on Darren Glass, and Michael Hurley goes back, and Jack Darling's his man.
Glass finds Hutchings from centre half back to centre half forward. Hooker's got the front position on Kennedy, but the bounce straight over his head. Kennedy there, tackled high by Myers. The fend off by Hooker was good. Myers wide to Goddard. It's the man they need to get into the game, Brendan Goddard. To Dempsey, good kick. Dempsey will wheel and go into the middle. Kick needs to be precise. Carlisle already an impact.
He just leads to the right spots as a forward. He's got great natural feel for that role.
And a good kick to Merritt as well. Now Watson, little one over the top to Zaharakis. He'll be made to go back and kick the set shot.
Well, there you go. Carlisle and Watson both involved. The first time Jobe's probably had the footy in space like that and was able to deliver it. I reckon he can get the journey here, Zaharakis. He's a great kick on the run from this sort of distance.
Needs to set his mind to it. Zaharakis will have to kick it from just inside the 50. Kick on the way. It's bending. It's got a good shape about it. Good-looking kick. And I think it may well be there.
No, just to the across the face. Lee, the sub's been made, I believe, for the Bombers.
That's right, Das. It has. Essendon have identified they need more run. They've taken big Tommy Bell-Chambers off the ground. David Myers is the man who's on.
Heppel goes back in the Carlisle direction again. Keeps his feet and able to try and push a hole through. Darling got him in the tackle with Dalziel.
Well, they've just been able to shut down all of the Bombers' chief playmakers. Zaharakis had 8 disposals at about the 10-minute mark. He's only on 12 now. Heppel's down. Goddard's down. Jobe's not having his normal influence. They've just been able to tighten the grip on all of those Bombers' midfielders.
It's good aggressive coaching from James Hird. I really like it. He's made the move. Carlisle forward. He's activated the sub really early. He's sensed that this one can get away from them if they don't get involved in the game now. Hurley's gone back into defence, so good on him. He's doing what he can. Now the players need to find something.
Yeah, it was well timed, isn't it?
Hey, you're just seeing on your screen there Angus Montfrey's former teammate of Jobe Watson saying poor taste by the West Coast Eagles fans at Subiaco tonight. He's referring to every time Jobe Watson gets the ball, he's booed by the West Coast supporters. I tend to agree with Angus Montfrey's. I don't think it's in great taste. Steve Morris, the Richmond player, he's tweeted us as well, said it makes me sick hearing the crowd boo such a champion in Jobe Watson. There it is again. What do you think, Richo? I don't like it. I don't think it's...
No, I think it's a disgrace, to be honest.
Myers, your timing was impeccable there, Das. Stanton now long and deep. Merritt was there. Gee, I thought he was being held. Put his head under the footy. Winderlick around the corner, got it to bend the right way. And Winderlick's got 3, and that's the one the Bombers needed.
That's his 3rd goal, Jason Winderlick. Only winner they've got inside that forward half of the ground in the first half. Gets his 3rd goal. A nice snap around the corner. And as we've talked about, there's Jake Carlisle. He's gone forward. So I heard he has made some moves. And they've got it back within 10 points. And for a team that's been pretty much outplayed for the majority of this game, they're right in it.
Kicked 3 on Anzac Day to this man here, Jason Winderlick, and he's got 3 tonight, and they really, really needed that one to get them back within 10 points. So Jobe Watson has James Hird has made the moves at the right time here. The scores were still reasonably close, but the stats were saying they were being beaten. And now an opportunity from the Melksham kick to go inside 50 again. Winderlick looking to take his man under the footy. Glass arrives. Little kick around the corner. Great composure, Glass, knowing that he was going to be bumped there.
Yeah, the last 5 inside 50s for the Bombers.
So they've been able to reverse that trend, at least, as Nat Nui flies.
That would have been a great grab. Big Nick Nat. Hasn't done a lot tonight, only 8 disposals, but something's always about to happen when he's near it.
Zaharakis. Watson breaks the tackle, gets a really good look, and once again the booze there. We're not sure about that. Winderlick to Waters. Waters around the corner with a high ball. Shepherd near the boundary line, keeps it alive to Marston. Free kick will be paid here to Shepherd.
Downfield, here.
So downfield against Dempsey. And Marston at half back. Yeah, just reckon people that perhaps know Jobe Watson and what sort of person he is, there's no way they would be entering into that sort of behaviour. I know it's footy and it's a bit of fun, but
there's no findings that have been released yet, so let's just all take a deep breath and wait for the appropriate investigations to run their course.
Had a bit on his mind this week, James Hird.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more, Richo. 142 days ago the Essendon story broke, and it's been a club under pressure ever since. Well, the way they have handled themselves since has been unbelievable, really.
2 on 1 here. The 2 big boys keep their feet. Cramery and Carlisle wanted it inside. Probably should have given it. The left foot kick around the body with a little banana is still good, and the Bombers get 2 in a row.
He waited and waited. He was trying to, I think, draw the defender to give it across to Carlisle. They defended it pretty well in the end, and he had to go the banana and finished it off. It's only 4 points down now. Last 6 inside 50s. They're coming, the Bombers. A few moves, the sub was made, and momentum back in their favour.
Really good effort here by Cramery. Keep his feet. Had Carlisle in support. Defender had to choose in the end. Clearance to go with this. Here's the man Myers that has just been subbed into the game for the Bombers. Heppel. Ryder's doing good job in the ruck. Wrapped up Gaff in the tackle. Stanton out the back door, so they muscle the footy forward. The Bombers got hard now. McKenzie did really well. Dalziel to Marston. At half-back, kick to Schofield on the lead. Got the Dukes up, couldn't bring it in. Kennedy, a nice little give to Kerr, and Kerr's ball to Lacroix, and that's nearly 50. Gee, that was lucky. Thought he grabbed his feet after he marked it and tried to get to his feet.
Yeah, he's really lucky there, Bagley.
Boy. As Lacroix now on the head of Darling. Schofield once again to the left foot of Priddis, along the ground. It's got some wheels. Priddis with an absolute ripper.
Well, I think Michael Hibbert will have a look at that one, and he just didn't clear the area. He needed to just get that fist way out of the zone. He probably could have marked it, actually, but just not enough purchase on it. And Priddis was good enough to do the rest.
This is how tight modern footy is. That little play there to Curry opened it all up and gave them an opportunity to get it inside 50. Schofield gets the handball out, and well finished by Priddis. That ability to operate in tight traffic then from Kennedy and Kerr got that goal.
2 handballs totaling 2 metres, Richo. Yeah. Wasn't long ago that you'd be pulled off for that sort of handball off the ground. Opportunity here now for the Eagles again from half-back. Priddis. Butler with a left footer. Schofield ran past the footy. Did well, Pears. Now Heppel trying to get it to Stanton. Stanton. March on centre wing. Neutral territory here. 9.5 minutes in the quarter remaining. West Coast by 10 points. Heppel with a little kick forward. It's good. Watson takes the mark. Played on immediately and didn't quite get the length on the kick that he wanted. And this allows Gaff to strike and go wide and find Waters. Waters to Kennedy, long way up on the wing. Kennedy, where's Darling? Too far away for Kennedy to find him at the moment, so he goes short to Rosa.
Gee, we think of Josh Kennedy as just a key forward. His work rate is massive. Been watching him tonight. Works up to the wings to be an option, works back to the goal square to take those contested marks that he's been so famous for. Fantastic footballer.
3 goals in the quarter to West Coast, 2 to the Bombers.
It's so important. So important, a forward that's prepared to hit up to the logos and give your half-back line a get-out kick.
Now, we saw Kennedy earlier in the game not be able to get the journey from a metre or 2 closer. So no stutter in the step there, but this one he's hammered, and he's absolutely got that off the boot magnificently. Where's the stutter gone?
I don't think he can get the distance with the stutter, BT, so he eliminates the stutter and gets the extra distance. We saw one earlier in the game. He started and got underneath it from about 55. So no stutter, more distance. Inside 50, stutter.
Big goal. Have a look at this. No stutter. Very little stutter. He kicks at 60 metres because he didn't think about it.
Well, I think he almost tried to trick himself and play on. And on that basis, the stutter isn't there. He might have found the formula.
The stutter's gone. Boy, overnight, Nui!
Richie. I reckon they're missing Dustin Fletcher down there tonight. They've made Pears, Hooker all be accountable. Carlisle's gone forward. They just haven't got the old head down there, Dusty, to come third man in.
If he kicks this, it'll be the biggest lead of the game for either side. In this case, a 22-point lead for West Coast, if successful. Little bit of left, bending, misses.
A lot of talk around about whether Nick Natanui actually gets enough of the ball and gets involved enough for the reputation that he's got. His effectiveness per possession would be as high as anyone in the game. And when he does find the ability to get it 20 or 25 times, he'll be scary.
Just that little handball then didn't quite come off for the Bombers. So important, those little release handballs. (45-43) in total tackles, West Coast way. Smith, Hooker, got the skates on and almost slid back with that unique running style.
That's what he does so well, intercept possession.
Yep.
Carlisle's had to go into the ruck now because Bellchambers is subbed out of the game, so he's in the ruck against Cox. Jobe Watson is the deepest forward at the moment.
See Bronny Goddard just up forward there on your screen, running to centre wing, trying to get involved in the contest. They have to get more out of him. He's had a great year crossing over from St Kilda, but he's only found it 9 times tonight for a player of his quality.
Oh, he's done the Achilles, I reckon.
Oh, no.
That's Cramery. It looked like one of those ones that just goes snap, either a lower calf or Achilles. It looks like with Cramery.
Just no warning there, was there?
No.
And he's grabbing the ankle, whether it's the back of the ankle or not, we don't know.
I think you've nailed it, Bree. That's your Achilles. He actually had that glance over your shoulder where you feel like someone's thrown a rock at you.
Had all of the signs of the Achilles, Das. In the meantime, Hepball goes over the top.
They're going to have to stop.
Of Cramery. Comes to Davey. The only way they can stop is with the stretcher. Back into Comma. Comma gets it on here to Dempsey. Dempsey to the open goal, has missed. And what a tragedy this is for Cramery. The best would be a lower calf or an ankle.
Yeah,
it's actually an ankle, isn't it?
Well, that's a great result.
Yeah, it
on
is.
replay. Yeah, he can handle that. And look, as bad as that is, he might even be able to come back on the ground. You can strap an ankle. You can get a bit of pain relief. So
had ankle problems earlier this year.
Yeah, it looked like an Achilles tendon, and that's a massive recovery 12 months out of the game. So yeah, that might be the best result.
That is a really good result, I reckon. And we know that he had troubles with that earlier in this year. And as Dar said, they can do incredible things with strapping these days.
It was really innocuous, wasn't it?
He sort of had to... The kick was going over his head, so he had to transfer the weight and try and stop quickly, and he's gone over on that right ankle.
Dempsey, in the meantime, in amongst all of that, ran into a goal from 30 and missed. 5.5 minutes in the third quarter remaining.
Just opening up a little bit here at the moment. Players getting tired late in the third quarter.
Reiner able to reel and go with a kick to the advantage of Zaharakis, who won't keep it alive.
You see Big Coxie running up to this stoppage. He's really trying to get back behind the footy now to make sure the Bombers don't score late in this third quarter.
So some talk, I think the lateral ligament was the early problem with Cramery this year. May have re-injured that. Melksham with a beautiful piece of foot candy and then to an open goal square. Was it marked on the line by Watson? It is. Ray Chamberlain pays the mark in the goal square.
The West Coast fans need to have a real good look at themselves. You can hear what's going on here. They've given it to him all night. This man's a champion.
So Watson with a certain goal to get it back to 10 points. Marked right on the line, comes in, kicks the goal, and he looks at the crowd. Jobe Watson then in disbelief, I reckon.
Well, if anyone saw the interview on Monday night, he spoke very confidently.
But forgetting that, the behaviour tonight, Richo,
I just don't think it's in great spirit at all, BT. I mean, we've had players get Bronx cheers all their career. And we know everyone reads the press and jumps to assumptions, but it just doesn't. We're sitting up here impartial commentators. It just doesn't feel to me in the spirit of the great game. They're a great crowd here. They turn up en masse in numbers. And yep, they've got the right to give it to opposition supporters. But there's a distasteful feel about it tonight for me. I'm not enjoying it at all. I think he's a man who deserves the benefit of the doubt, Jobe Watson, until proven otherwise. He's a superstar person, incredible individual.
Rosa, in the meantime, within 55, gets a really good look as well. Talk about return it up in the square as Schofield couldn't quite get at the rush behind. What do you think of it all, Richo? Having heard it here tonight and know what you've known from during the week and knowing Jobe as well as you know him.
Well, just from knowing him and meeting him over the years, he's got a man of high integrity. I think everyone respects him in the footy world. He believes that he has nothing to be worried about. The Essendon Footy Club believe that everything will be proven in their favour. So let's just leave it and let it run its course and judge at the end of the day, because I don't like it at the moment.
We're confident as ex-players that always defend the players. We never like to see anyone get reported. That's fair enough too. If anyone is proven out of this investigation to has cheated, I hope they are banned for as long as you possibly can. But until someone explains to me that that's the case, there's a presumption of innocence you get in life, and that should be afforded to everyone, particularly with enough evidence around that there is some doubt. And that's probably the key issue for me. If anyone cheats, bad luck, throw the book at them. Until that point, let's all wait and see.
So 3:23 in the third remaining here. West Coast by 11. This game so evenly poised. Chambers has been subbed out of the game. Sorry, Lingy.
Sorry, BT. Just a quick update on Stewie Crammer. You could see him just getting a bit of attention there. He's had a lot more strapping put on. He's putting the sock back on and his boot. I reckon he's going to have a crack at coming back out there. As you boys mentioned, probably a great result being an ankle as opposed to an Achilles injury.
Oh, that's really good news, Lingy. Appreciate that. Myers around the corner, the sub that has brought it on this quarter. McKenzie through traffic, just gets it as long. He's saying Nat Nui over the top, couldn't hold on. Schofield back inside to Nat Nui. Quick little handball out to Shepherd. Schofield again. Pritis with the one hand. He can't kick the goal from there. Goes to short ball. Good kick to Lacroix on the lead.
Nat Nui involved, Lacroix on the end of it. Two players that have missed big chunks of training through injury. They're getting enough games under their belt to compete harder and longer. And West Coast are just rolling, you feel, as a footy club. And we'll come home really strong in the second half of the year, but they have to win games like this tonight if they are to have any chance in the finals.
Well, he's a big positive tonight, Mark Lacroix. Pritis has had a ripping game, 23 disposals, 7 clearances, and that pass then, absolutely nothing the defender could do about that.
There is Crammery. Going to give it a go in the meantime. Lacroix straight through the middle. Really nicely done. West Coast by 17.
Yeah, the West Coast fans getting excited and involved. That's more within the spirit, I would have thought. Lacroix, he's a jet. You just love to see him get fit, come back in the second half of the year. Such a dangerous matchup as a forward. Good news that Crammery's up and walking.
There's Stewie Crammery. He's back up and about. He could well figure in this last quarter. They've already made their sub, so they're one rotation down if he cannot get back.
Back in the middle. 17 points, nearing three-quarter time, 1:54 to go. Clearance by the Eagles. Lacroix, geez, got better and better as this game has progressed, Richo. You pointed out the kick to Kennedy, a little heavy. An opportunity here for West Coast to get another. 2 in a row they've got. Really well done.
They're up and about. Dalzell ran into space, but Lacroix, you can just see him growing every time the ball goes near him, and he is such a creative player and skillful player. Gee, that's a big blow for the Bombers right before three-quarter time.
How good Lacroix. Brilliant mark. Comes out, finds Dalziel. It's his second goal he's kicked tonight, running back with the flight. Richo alluded to his gut-running ability. And it's created 2 big goals for West Coast.
Well, he's given them something in the absence of Shuey. They needed someone to step up. Selwood out of the team also, and I reckon Dalziel's been a man who's done that tonight.
Great tackle by Kerr. Zaraka's Bombers in desperate need here. The closing minute. Watson was able to bullock his way through to Stanton. The perfect tackle. He didn't kick or handball. Has to be a free kick. He's had the prior opportunity. How can it not be? Myers caught with the footy. Goddard ran past it. Cox said, I want it. Tries to suck it in. Eventually caught with it with Stanton, and now we'll have a certain ball up.
Bit going on with Kerr and Melksham behind the footy there. Those two had a...
Yeah, boys, a little bit between those two. Neither of those blokes will take a backward step. Two of the toughest players going around in the AFL. It was entertaining to watch.
Had a couple of amateur fights. I think he did Jakey Melksham. He can handle them very nicely.
Here goes Ryder from 55, and that'll be out of bounds on the full.
She'd love another look at that Dean Cox tackle. That's a perfect tackle on Stanton. He had time to get rid of the footy, and I don't know why they don't pay him. There's a little left jab there. Just on the chin, little one. Little jumpery after it.
Carlisle kicked back into play, wasn't great. Carlisle around the corner, trying to do the big thing, and he's done really well for the Bombers. Boy, did they need that.
Yeah, that's a really timely goal from Jake Carlisle. They felt like they needed one before three-quarter time, and here he is. They've put him forward, competed really strongly. He's got a good goal sense, hasn't he, for a man who's got to be well within contention to be an All-Australian defender this year. It's a great finish, and they will not go away, Essendon. And that one helps with just 25 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
So West Coast by 17 now. .25 seconds. Ryder and Natanui, two of the most athletic ruckmen in the competition. Pritis out of the middle. Got time here. Down to 15 seconds for West Coast. Ball towards the boundary line. I think Rose will make sure it goes over the line. No free kick for Rosa there. A little unlucky. Probably not enough time. Natanui. Marston was hanging about, and that'll just about do it here at three-quarter time. So really handy position for the West Coast Eagles. They lead it by 17 points here. 12-10-82 to the Bombers. 10-5-65. Come back. Okay, so he was the late replacement, of course, Will Schofield there. So start of this last quarter here. 17-point margin is nothing. Brisbane 38 down at this stage last week against the all-conquering Cats. In the middle, Ryder and Natanui crash. Pritis with a ripping handball to Marston, who got it to centre half forward. Kennedy with a trap. Caught behind by Hooker. Kerr through some traffic. Come out looking really good. Kick is wide. Couldn't quite get it to the target in Dalziel. Got it now. Quick kick by Dalziel inside 50. Stretching mark there by Bagley.
What do you reckon they've got to do to ask the Bombers to win this game?
Well, they're the #1 mark play-on team in the game, Richo, and I'm sure with Bomber Thompson's influence, James Hurd, you can actually lip-read what he was saying. Hey, let's get it moving. You see Winderlick there, no hesitation. Just play on, take a risk at all costs.
Winderlick driving ball. Merritt there over the back. Waters with the spoil. Pritis there front and centre. Caught in the Davey tackle. And really clever how he got that onto the boot. And Waters got one high then against Comma. Waters looking to switch the play here. It's a high ball. I tell you what, Goddard's got to go back and make Smith work. He does. The knock down to Watson. Could have given it to Davey, but the skipper stuck one through.
Oh, gee there, Bo Waters, he's a great player, but just didn't get enough on that kick. It was dangerous. It probably wasn't on in the first place. They were manned up. The switch wasn't on. Probably just needed to go down the line then, and he's paid the price. Jobe Watson converts.
Well, Bo Waters' decision there is one that he won't be feeling all that great about at the moment. Jobe Watson, it's been a massive night for him. You know the controversy off the field, 23 disposals, 8 contested possessions, 5 tackles, 2 goals. You reckon that man doesn't stand up under a bit of pressure?
Pretty sneaky little handball back to Marston. It was very creative. Smith involved there to Gaff. West Coast to half-forward. Melksham got a fist on that footy. Into the zone of Natanui. See him point, then he said, you shepherd him off, I'll go get the footy. And Melksham didn't let his teammate down with a kick into Ryder.
You just see that style, aggressive styles, and they're going hard, playing on through the corridor, and they're right open again here.
Comma, really good mark, Rise. Back on his feet inside to Davey, and his mark 35 out, so this to get it back to single figures.
Lee, that is your team through the premiership era, Bomber Thompson style, isn't it? Just get it moving, play on, take a risk, and break it open through the middle of the ground.
Exactly right, Darcy. That's what Bomber was saying to the group at three-quarter time. Take the game on, play on, use the corridor, the shortest way home, as we know, straight up the middle.
Davey to get it back to 5 points. 45 out, directly in front, it's left. So it's a 10-point game.
BT, Essendon really need to take advantage of this because they are going to be one short in this last quarter. Stewie Cramer, he's got the full tracksuit on. He's got the ankle, the foot in ice, in a bucket, so I don't think he's taking any further part.
Oh, Melksham over the top has taken it off Gaff. The umpire didn't pay in the mark and caught him to play on. Melksham goes inside 50, looking for Carlo, I think it was, at the back. Watson there in front. Here it comes to Winderlick. He's been a little dangerous all night. Handball to Goddard. Just a little fumble there. Winderlick now under Hutchings' pressure. Priddis cool.
Jeez, that was clean from Priddis. And again, Goddard's just having one of those nights. A little fumble uncharacteristically.
Play on.
Kennedy. Soccer off the ground. Darling and Hurley. Kept his feet here, Darling. Flops on the top. Hurley was there. He wanted a free. Nothing forthcoming. Plenty of Bombers arrive.
He was really desperate there, Michael Hurley. Yeah, there's that fumble from Brendan Goddard. A lot of pressure on. There were a lot of players around, but got to be one touch there.
There is that man on screen, and he's got an enormous amount of ability, and he'll be saying to himself, it's what you do from now on. Maybe I'm the man who takes a big defensive mark to save the game or kicks a goal. He'd be well aware it hasn't been his night tonight, but still plenty of time to make a big impact on this game, Brendan Goddard.
As we look down at this stoppage now, there's no loose players back at either end. It's just pairs of players forward of the footy each end.
Marston recovers the footy to Priddis and Shepherd. Plenty of runners. Gaff's one of those on his favoured left side. A low ball into Darling, who is closing very quickly. Got the little handball to Kennedy on his wrong left side. Misses.
It's the first time we've ever seen Josh Kennedy kick with his left foot.
They've got an opportunity here now, the Eagles, to try and lock it in, get multiple entries.
Dempsey with a really good kick to the advantage of Ryder.
The cramping.
I think he's got cramp.
Yeah. Boy, Bagley had to wait. Call from Carlisle there, has to go back and search for the footy. A really good handball to the advantage of Hibbert then. He knew he was going to be tackled. Very impressive thinking. Now Rose has got to go, and he does. Caught in an aggressive comma tackle. McGinnity jumps out with the footy. A ball over the head of Kennedy. The back of the pack was Lacroix. Ball comes to Bagley. In they go. Gee, I tell you what, Shepherd was really good as well. Bombers have won the footy. Streaming through the middle, Heppel. They've got to be clean. A Burset play on. Turnover complete. Well done, Eagles.
Stanton's kick. You'd be really disappointed with that. It was a half volley to Heppel. It made it awfully hard. They've got it back here, though, the Bombers.
They have. Goddard's got it. With space and time in the middle. Look at Dempsey get forward of the footy. He wants to carry it. Didn't get a look. Goddard goes long and deep. Melcham, Winderlick's there as well. Mackenzie arrives, McGinnity and Rosa.
Well, Winderlick, I thought he had his man done, but it was the right man. It was Glass, the most experienced defender on the ground. He got back and won a crucial 50-50. I thought Winderlick had him cold then.
Just get the feeling this game is going to open up here any time. And perhaps 3 or 4 goals in quick succession is really possible. Kennedy here, just short of the wing.
Moving on.
Just see the fatigue on players around. There are guys that are cramping, sore, can't run, experienced players who are just about out on their feet already.
Well, this is the first time this quarter the Eagles have been able to just slow the tempo down a little bit. It's just been fast, and that's what the Bombers want at the moment.
Still no sign of the West Coast sub down there, Lingy.
Yeah, they have definitely made the sub. We're just trying to work out who the man who's come off is. It's Shepherd has come off the ground, so Tunbridge on for his first run in his first game of footy.
Boy, talk about a big 14 minutes of footy ahead of the newcomer and Tunbridge. Glass backwards. Butler.
I think everyone on the ground's relieved that this is happening at the moment because...
And the man... Sorry, Das. The man that's got it there, Dalziel, he pushed really hard into space.
Brown in front here. Offhand, Dempsey. One really good kick can open up either side through the middle here. Dempsey's looked like he's wanted to run all night. That kick's not great to Stanton. Now the Bombers under West Coast pressure. G came through well, Mackenzie. Got it off to the first gamer in Tunbridge. Not so good. First attempt now, Melcham. Through traffic. Zaharakis, Melcham combines again. Ducked under the tackle, said the umpire. Rosa got it on there to Darling. Once again, an opportunity here for the Eagles to go deep. Kennedy couldn't go anymore. His man did, though. There he is, Hooker.
Yeah, well played, Carl Hooker. Left Kennedy, attacked the footy. It was a brilliant effort.
Darling, really well done with the body positioning. Goes into centre half forward. Have a look at this. A little bit of an opening there for Dalziel.
Brendan Goddard's loose man back in the hole at the moment for Essendon. He's just been forced to come out and pick up a man.
Every player for the Bombers floods forward of the footy. They go long and deep. Over the back, Hutchings. Hutchings snaps towards goal. Needs a good bounce. Didn't quite get it. 2-goal game.
Jeez, there's some tired players out there and we've still got a heap of time left.
Carlisle, have a look at this, to the run of Goddard. The kick is inch perfect. Oh, Goddard's dropped the mark, so now he has to go. It's Comma and Mackenzie. Comma, Soccer, Mackenzie went to ground. Now he's got to beat Brown. He beats him as well. Now he's got to pick the footy up. He's got one high. He's caught one high, Comma. And he's won himself a free. Really, really well done.
That was great play from Nick Comma.
It's going to be downfield. Here's the Owen Davey.
Yep, the ball landed here.
So I'm not sure why it's downfield though.
Yeah, well,
unless the incident took place after he got rid of it. Let's have a look.
Comma's handball, copped one just after
he got rid of it, so that's why it's downfield.
So Owen Davey, who shanked his last kick horribly.
He stabbed at the last one. He didn't extend on his follow through with the kick, Alvin Davey.
Great effort by Comma. Gives Davey a look from 35 out. He stabbed at that one as well. Bomber fans behind the goals like it. So does he. It's a goal the difference.
Big moment there for little Alvin Davey. Go back to Brendan Goddard again. He dropped a mark that he would always take. He's just having one of those nights where it's not going his way. But the effort from Comma, we need to have a second look at that. It's brilliant. Back to 6 points.
Well, this man here, Nick Comma, this is his goal because he won a one-on battle there with Mackenzie. Then he won another battle with Brown. And then he got the handball off and received the high free kick. He should never have been able to create that goal. Well done.
So 3 Essendon goals in a row. Now the Eagles by just 1 goal. In the middle, Ryder and Nat Nui. Watson with the clearance. Brown dropped the chest mark. Now Smith's got it to do. Zaraka sneaky one out the corner to Watson. A little kick by Watson. McKenzie did well against Carlisle. Here's Elwyn Davey.
Hey, Lee, you're down at ground level as you always are. You see the rotations. You've told us Cremery is out. Have they got enough run, Essendon? Do you think they can sustain enough run here to get over the line?
Well, they're doing a very good job at the moment, Dust, but you'd think that one rotation down's got to hurt them. But the way they're playing, they're just taking the game on and they're winning those contests. Beautiful
Stanton
work.
with a bullet. Carlisle wanted a free. And the umpire said no. Butler in the meantime goes on. Comer again. Talk about the one percenters. The right foot banana for the boundary line just skims the post.
Jake Carlisle is still asking the umpire about a high free kick on that marking contest on the lead. I thought McKenzie did really well on the spoil.
Smith to Cox.
That's what's made this man, in my view, the best ruckman that has played the game in the last 20 years. Is he just does the right thing at the right moment, always works hard, pushes up into defence and takes a key mark, and that was another example of how hard you have to work.
Hutchins trying to get it out of the zone. Hurley had to thread the needle with the handball. The look away handball from Stanton was impressive. Bagley into the middle, opens him up a little bit. Here's the left foot of Hibbard down the throat of Zaharakis. They build here with the handball inside to Watson. Watson goes long and deep. Goddard's there, Comer's there. But so is McKenzie with a wonderful defensive mark.
That's a great effort, Eric McKenzie. He's really stood tall.
They look to have more run though, the Bombers at the moment, which we've been talking about one rotation down, but they look more dangerous on the counter-attack than the Eagles.
Kicked the last three, Ritzo. They were 23 points down at the 28-minute mark of the third quarter. The Bombers.
And Richo, they do appear to have that extra run as another Essendon free kick here because they're moving the ball fast, not necessarily the leg speed. They're using the corridor, they're playing on, and they're moving the ball as fast as they can. It's catching the Eagles players out at the moment.
Umpire signalled the wrong way, and the West Coast fans going berserk over there.
Watson, as he always does, when the game's up to be won, he steps up.
2 goals tonight, Watson. One of those coming early in this last quarter. Here comes Cox. Glasses there as well, and a free kick.
Got to get the run around.
It'll go to the Bombers.
Paddy Ryder's playing on Dean Cox. It's a Goddard free kick,
and he's got the distance from there without any problems.
Yeah, he's really due Goddard to step up to the plate and kick a big goal. But Ryder's got to stay close to Cox. He's just starting to have a big influence. Got to work hard, make sure he's with him step for step.
That's it.
Played on the full against Dalziel there, and I think the bound umpire got that one right on replay.
So Goddard gets a look from 45 out. Difficult, but certainly by no means impossible. Look at that from Goddard. The Bombers are in front by a point.
Well, hasn't had his best night. Brendan Goddard, he's fumbled, he's chopped a few marks, but
No shortcuts.
kicked a crucial goal when needed, drew the free kick, no doubt about the free kick, and in pretty safe hands when he gets a shot within range. Back to a 1-point lead, and they seem to have all the momentum. Can the Eagles rest it back now? They've got Pritis, Kerr in the middle, their best clearance players. Big clearance coming up.
That's what you love about great players, Bristol, is even when they're not having a great night, they find a way to impact the game, and he is a great player, Brendan Goddard. Sees the moment then.
Scores 84-85. They are the Bomber. Great years, of course, Dars. They happen to be the scores right now. Here's Hutchings. Through traffic to McGinnity. Into the forward end, Darling in front of his man. The kick was just a little too far out in front.
You just see Michael Hurley there with that aggression and step-to-step defence, Richo.
Yeah.
He just looks more comfortable down there. They made the move just after half-time. You can see James Hurd and Woosha looking on there. I reckon it's the right spot for him to play.
And Darling, who was probably the most influential forward on the ground, has had no impact since Hurley went down onto him.
Both incredibly composed. The coaches there in the box. Here's Watson and Mitch Brown. And out of bounds, neutral territory on the wing here. So either side with a real opportunity to go forward from this position. Bombers by 1 point. We've got 9 minutes left. Crowd of 36,451 in here tonight. Rose a quick kick out of the pack. Kennedy got down low. Did well to try and pick up a difficult bouncing footy. Zaharakis with a no-look at a Stanton who mongrel punted it to centre half forward, and the mark is taken by Waters. Waters going deep and wide. Looks like Cox out there. Should out Mark Reiner. Didn't. Had the body position. And now at ground level, Hooker said he caught one in the head. Didn't get the free. Kerr whips it up forward. Darling on the lead. Couldn't take the mark. The front and centre was the biggest man on the ground in Cox.
I think you're spot on, Darcy. He just seems that much more intense when he's down back. He's shut Darling out of the game. Hasn't given him an inch on the lead.
Accidental knee in the back of Hooker's head there. Hutchings ball here. Now the man on the mark's at 48. What sort of a boots he got? Not going to attempt it. The kick to Lacroix on the lead. And he marks well within range.
He hasn't been great on the set shot this year, Mark Lacroix, but in any previous season I would have picked him to put it through most times. See how he goes here.
I think he's kicked 12, 11 this year.
It's down on his normal percentage rate. He's normally a really good set shot, Mark Lacroix.
Played well tonight, Lacroix. Here he is for his third goal. A big one just 5 metres inside the boundary perimeter. It's off the right-hand side of the boot a little. They fly off hands, out of bounds.
And right on cue. Yeah, he's definitely just struggling with his set shots this year.
Big chance here for the Eagles. Got it locked at their end. Cox trying to control it. Zaharakis a poker out towards Comma. McGinnity all over him. Out of bounds on the full, says the umpire. And Essendon free. But hang on, let's listen to what Margett says.
Thanks, Matt.
He actually pointed the wrong way then, Dean Margetts.
Move it on.
So Comma at half-back.
McKenzie on his own should mark.
Carlisle spoiled. Careful not to give away the free there. McKenzie, ricochet ball. Winderlick with a wonderful knock-on, but Hutchings gets back. He's got a bit of protection. He's got Dalziel to his right and Smith to his left. He elects to go with Dalziel, who's now got Cox on him if he wants to finish the transfer.
I'd be getting the runner out of Paddy Ryder and just saying, we desperately need you. Cox has got that look about him. It could be a game changer. We know he's so good in the last couple of minutes. He's done it before so many times, kicked crucial goals. I'll be just saying, Paddy, this is your moment. We need you. I know you're tired, but you've got to stay with him. You can't let him just take a big mark to win the game.
A very iffy kick from Schofield there.
Gee, they were good there, though, the Bombers. They would not let the Eagles move the ball forward. And there's the live ladder.
Crucial this, you can see for the Eagles there, Richo.
And the Bombers. The Bombers can go into second position tonight if they win this game.
Waters from the wing, keeps it alive on the head of Kennedy. Fighting with him, Hooker off hands, the front centre Rosa. Darling lurking dangerously behind here. Got the hands on it, pushed her under the ball, Bagley. Darling goes back and get it. Snap around the body's missed. Just missed it to the right-hand side.
Gee, that was good by Bagley, because this man here is super quick, and he made him run out to his right. He had to snap round the corner running full pace. The pressure made him miss.
Scores level.
She's all about that kick in from Hurley. 60-metre ball to Goddard.
Drawing handball by Goddard was impressive to Hibberd. And Hibberd's low left footer. Howlett was there. Winderlick's got to take it over the line for a win for the Bombers to lock it at their forward end. And now they can reposition. Cox coming off, looking incredibly tired at the moment. The pressure in the box.
He's gone, big Coxie down there.
Real tired. Ryder, has he got any spring in his step left? Had a bit of a fresh airy there. Hutchings to Schofield. Schofield to Butler. Butler with a good one around the corner, finds Dalziel.
Essendon haven't beaten West Coast at home since 2001. 8 straight wins to the West Coast. We know the history between these two clubs. Kevin Sheedy with the jacket waving. This is an absolute ripper. 5 minutes to go, scores level.
Really well done there by Zaharakis. And over the line, this time West Coast get it to lock in their end.
The Bombers have not allowed West Coast to play on after taking a mark in this last quarter. It slowed them down. They just haven't been able to transition the footy anywhere near as quick as the Bombers.
Myers, fresh man, was the sub, activated third quarter. McKenzie did well. Carlisle there as well. Smith, long handball wide here.
Pears is cramping.
Bit of space. Tunbridge around the corner with the left boot. Looked pretty good. Darling there. Smith gave the handball away. Dalzell back to the left foot of Gaff. Gaff goes back into the danger spot. The crowd on the lead. Marks directly in front, 30 metres out.
There's Jackson Merritt who's down. I can't recall a game where I've seen more players just physically exhausted. Courtney Dempsey came off and was basically just on all fours. He couldn't move. Pears is cramping.
This kick, BT, he could have blazed away. Had a bit of fat side grass there. Lacroix, the perfect kick into space.
Last goal they kicked was the 28-minute mark of the third quarter. Here we are at the 21-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Lacroix steps to the plate, kicks the goal. Eagles by a goal. Big kick from Mark Lacroix.
Well, look at the jackets start getting waved here at Patterson Stadium. They know their history. The West Coast fans between these two great clubs. And now it's going to take something special for the Bombers to get off the canvas. Take Pears, goes off the ground. But show what happened to Merritt there behind play. Might have been just cramped, though.
Yeah, just watching Bagley there. He just lost touch on Mark Lacroix. He was watching the football. He let Lacroix get in behind him. And as a forward, when the defender loses touch and feel and they're looking behind trying to find you, you're going to be able to lead into it every day of the week. And that's what Lacroix did.
Atmosphere electric here. Have a look at the last 5 inside 50s with the Eagles. Before that, it was 5 for the Bombers. And the Eagles by 1 straight goal with 4 minutes left.
Those clearances are just massive at the moment. He's always composed, John Worsfold, but the Bombers have to get this going their way.
Goddard.
The Bombers had the extra player at the stoppage, but this player here was loose in Butler.
To Smith. Gaff. Butler out wide again. On the left, down the line. Waters in front. Punched away by Hooker. Bagley happy to find the boundary.
Well, they kicked the first 4 goals of this quarter, the last 4 of the game before Lacroix's goal. It was all about playing on and taking risk. They're out on their feet, Essendon, but they just have to roll the dice and take it on through the middle again.
Well done by Stanton. Heppel the soccer. Got another 20. Zaharakis with Heppel again. Gee, I thought he got in the back then of the newcomer in Tunbridge. Zaharakis out the back to Goddard. Goddard around the corner, high ball. Centre half forward, danger for the Eagles. McKenzie missed the swatting ball. Hutchins caught at the tackle. Heppel goes backwards to Watson. An inside 50 entry. Windelic's there. Carlisle's there. Glass was the third man up. And he punched it to the safety of the boundary.
What a great spoil, Darren Glass. That was a 25-metre spoil from the centre of the ground. How many times have you seen him save the Eagles in defence?
Every player now forward of the centre circle in the Bombers' forward end of the ground. Marston around the corner with a kick. Well trapped by Kennedy. Time to look. 2 left foot kicks in a row for him. Unheard of. Hurley quickly onto the boot. Got a little one to Myers.
Jeez, that was really smart thinking from Hurley.
On the left boot. Low ball. The lead of Carlisle's taken the mark, but he's right on 50 near the boundary line. This will test him, and he's got up, holding a little bit of the hamstring there. It's either cramp.
Don't underestimate that kick to Carlisle. That was one of the best kicks you'll ever see.
That's it.
Myers,
wasn't it?
Yeah, around his body. It had to be perfect.
Carlisle asking Razor Ray Chamberlain where the line was.
Ryder's done the right thing. He's pushed down with Nat Nui in the goal square.
Starting his approach from the perimeter piping. Jakey Carlisle. In he comes from 48. High ball. Oh. Gee, that looks good. Gee, that looks good. Scores a level again. He sent up big ball. Bomber bound there. Boy, oh boy, wowee. What about that for the Bombers?
Well, it was Hurley who started it with a bit of smart thinking here. Look at this. Didn't take possession. Bang. Just got it going forward late in the game. But this kick, this was an outstanding kick. Around his body. Look at that. That was perfect. And then Carlisle finished it off with a magnificent
Defenders
goal.
don't do that. Defenders don't go forward, Bruce one from 50 on the boundary line to level the scores. I just saw Dean Cox come up to centre bounce. He went up to Nick Natanui. He gave him the riding instructions. It's all about this centre bounce for me. Whoever wins it will go a long way to winning this game.
Never had a draw, these two teams. A minute 45 remains in the game. Stanton goes forward again. Here's Carlisle. Took his man under the footy. Gets a look on the left foot. No, he doesn't. Handball back to Winderlick. Class is all over him. Zaharakis is clobbered by Kerr. Boy, what about the pressure here now? Oh, Winderlick ran into the brick wall. That was McGinnity.
Jeez, what a play there. Good bad bounce, Carlisle. Looked like he was going to run into an open goal. And then Glass, McKenzie, the numbers came from everywhere. Brilliant effort, West Coast.
A minute 24 remaining.
Goddard, third man up then. Gee, they nearly paid the Eagles. You can't let Goddard come third man up. You've got to lock down on your opponent here. You can't have anybody coming in and punching it into space.
Never had a draw, these two teams. Watson. Wonderful little tap to Melksham. Round the corner, he's missed. They're a point in front, the Bombers. What about the flick by Jobe Watson?
They already kicked the winning goal against Carlton. Melksham is at the winning point. This one will go long down the middle, you will think.
This is where you need Hearn. He's not in the team. He's out.
Beautiful kick. Finds Smith. Smith from half-back to the wing. A big one-on-one duel here. And look at Hibbert to the boundary. He said to himself, well done.
Hit the boundary was the message. It was smart play. Look at James Hird now. They're going to get numbers back, Richo.
There goes Goddard. Goddard's gone back, Richo.
Goddard's gone back. Cox has gone to full forward to try and give them a marking target.
So do they need another one back, or are they happy with the one back? What do you think?
I'd start rolling more back. I reckon that was smart play from Myers. He just got it to the boundary. I reckon that's the message heard. Get a few back now. They're sending Carlisle back.
Yeah,
good
Carlisle's back.
Boundary throw in almost at half forward for the Bombers. 45 seconds here for West Coast. Melksham, another quick little soccer, but they'll win it here. Brown, he played on when he shouldn't have. I reckon there was a little bit of panic in that.
He had to play on, I reckon, though. No time really left.
Melksham, but not at the point of running into the opposition.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe he could have got it to fat side if he'd had a look.
They've set up well here now, BT. They've got Carlisle loose. They've got Goddard down back. And they're just starting to roll a few more back. 27 seconds left. Unbelievable game, this one.
Big stoppage, biggest stoppage of the game here right now. Myers to Watson. The Bombers win it. Watson gained 20 with a handball. And happy to see it over the line was Merritt. 16 seconds. You reckon the Eagles can't carry it the length of the ground in 16? It'll have to come out the back and down the middle. I think the Bombers are going to win here. It was a beautiful flick by Natanui. They're going to run out of time. It's going to be a Bomber victory. Heppel's going to consolidate and kick the goal. Bombers have won right on the siren. A 7-point win to Essendon. Siren is gone, but I don't think they've heard it. The umpires have not heard the siren. But the clock, it must be a half a second or so under 1 second to go, because the siren has not officially sounded, even though there is no time on the clock, if that makes sense.
Look at the physical exhaustion from Jobe Watson. He is just absolutely in distress. That's how hard he's worked. He doesn't know that the siren's about to blow. 29 possessions. He's had 7 clearances, 5 tackles, 2 goals. Could not have had a bigger week. Look at James Hird. Is that a smile of satisfaction that you will just enjoy? He can't believe it.
5 goals to 1 this quarter for the Bombers in a huge comeback against the West Coast Eagles. Big, big win for the Bombers. This one, have a look at the smile on James Hird's dial. The players celebrating. And Lingy, I know you're out there. Just describe what you're seeing and hearing at the moment. Have a look at Jobe, Lingy.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, BT. They're wrapped, and every single Essendon player has just run to Jobe Watson. He's extremely emotional. I going to try and have a chat to him, but his teammates are just all over him at the moment. They're absolutely wrapped for him. It's a fantastic win. Doesn't want to talk to me. I'll keep trying, BT.
That's all right, Lingy. So you're right out there amongst it at the moment. There is one extremely emotional man, Jobe Watson. Look at the determination and grit all over his face.
Yeah, I think the emotion on the siren nearly got him, and my heart goes out to that man who is just a superb person. He is one of the elite players in the game. He's done it through hard work. He's done it through sheer determination. He's had his integrity questioned this week. He's had people staggeringly, from my point of view. Look at that James Hird smile, questioning the Brownlow medal. The crowd's giving it to him tonight, and to respond in that way, it just shows the character of the man. It's an unbelievable moment.
Let's get down to Cameron Ling. He's with James Hird.
Very, very happy, James Hird. What a win, mate. That was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was, Ling. It was just incredible. I thought 10 minutes of that third quarter were looking like we were gone, but the boys fought it out, and one thing to say about this team is they never die, and every time we've been in this situation, we've fought back, so really good win. And a really emotional moment there when the siren went. Obviously everyone ecstatic, but every player ran to Jobe Watson. Obviously meant a lot for him to win after the week he's had. Yeah, look, Jobe is just a great person, great captain, great footballer. We're all disappointed about what's going on, but look, it's just great for him and great for the whole club. And sensational to come over here with all the pressure. You've managed to do it all year, be able to step up again. Must be so proud of the group, and in particular your captain. Yeah, just so proud of every player, the players, and also our supporters who travel with us. Our members and supporters so far this year have been amazing. Supported the players well, and I think they're repaying them with some pretty good performances. Appreciate your time, Hirdy. Well done tonight, mate. Great job.
Oh, well done, James Hird. Got the Bombers home, 7 points tonight in an absolute thriller, Das.
Yeah, it's just an incredible night. It's just one of those moments of football that you will remember as the Essendon training staff, James Hird, goes off. Really respectful to Bombers.